Pleasure to meet you. How you doing at the moment?
Yeah, not too bad. Can't complain. Uh,
Yeah.
same old, same old.
What's the same old in regards to you?
Well, I'm at work, so work mostly.
There it is. Work it
Yeah.
is. Fair enough.
Yeah.
What's the state of play? What's the headspace like in the entire band? Because obviously we're gearing up to the release of the EP, Dehumanise, April 28th.
Yeah. Yeah, we're really excited, man, because we've been sitting on this for a little while now. And I know the guys are really excited to finally release it and get the music out there, as am I. Like yeah, we recorded it. It must have been about 2 years ago now. So it's we've been
Mm.
sitting on it for a while. Um, Excited to actually get it out there. Yeah.
Well, what's forced your hand in regards to having to sort of sit in it for that length of time?
Um, tricky to say, but
Hmm.
just trying to figure out the right way to release it. You know, we're all been busy with different things and hadn't quite figured out what the best option was to get it out there. But it's yeah, it took longer than expected, but we got there in the end. So
You think you figured out what is the right way effectively now?
pretty much, yeah. I think we yeah, eventually figured it out. It was a tricky process, but I'm glad that we're finally there and finally going to be releasing it into the world.
What does the right way look like? I mean, because I almost feels like there is no right or wrong way. Effectively, the last thing you want to do is just dump it and never mention it, say, on social media or something like that.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I mean that's kind of what we were worried about. You know, we've released music before, and you know, there've been plenty of times where we've just put it out there and made some Facebook posts or whatever, and you know, nobody listens to it, and it's like, you know, fair enough, but it's something that you know you work hard on and you want people to hear the music that you've made and stuff. But we got a few. We're working with some people to push it out into different places and hopefully get some advertising behind it so that we can actually have some people hear some of the stuff that we've made rather than like just our mates, you know.
Yeah, of course. I gather you have you understand how difficult it is in the modern times in regards to getting ears onto music and so on. Do you kind of have a strategy? I want to use that word to aside from say social media posts to get as many ears on it.
Yeah, so I mean, like I said, we're working with some digital marketing companies and stuff to put some, you know, send it to sort of press and Spotify playlists and that sort of thing.
Mm.
But in terms of doing stuff ourselves, aside from it's kind of, I think these days it's like social media content, isn't it? It's like making TikTok videos and Facebook Reels and all that sort of stuff. And we're all just not very good at that sort of thing. You know, we're not as funny as we like to, you know, we're not like Raised by Owls or something who are making really funny content all the time. Like it's hard, it's tough to be like that. Yeah.
Well, I mean that's a bar that nobody should be trying to reach of course.
Yeah.
It's all good and proper, as I say, not very good at it or being good at it. But on that side of things, you're making your TikTok videos, reels, whatever they might be. It isn't necessarily an enjoyable thing. Are you able to make that side of things fun for yourselves?
Yeah, it's tricky because I mean we made a little so when we shot the music video we were all sort of filming little behind the scenes stuff, you know, little bits and I put together a little kind of behind the scenes video that we recently put up on YouTube or whatever and cut bits of that into sort of TikTok reels and stuff.
Mm.
So that was actually watching that back was a laugh. It was a lot of fun. Yeah. So yeah, I think it's or any excuse to, you know, when we were all together and we were like recording videos or, you know, doing stuff that will eventually be content or whatever, it's tends to be fun. So yeah, I don't, it's works out all right, I think. Yeah.
Of course, we don't want to focus on that side of things. It's such an important part of being in a band these days, unfortunately. But ultimately, you have got this release coming on April 28th. But before we get into that, briefly sum up who and what Dead Flesh are. Like, what if you were to say this is what we stand for, what would it be?
Oh gosh, what we stand for? Well, the I mean so lyrically, because I wrote, you know, all the lyrics for the tracks, and so it's quite a personal experience of you know, there are themes of sort of depression and kind of mental health struggles that like I suffer with, and it was like a real kind of outlet to for me to be able to like write my thoughts and feelings like into song form and have it in lyrics, especially when I'm like screaming. It's like
Mm.
way more intense when I'm like, you know, belting out these like lyrics and stuff. But there's a lot of like anger, there's a lot of stuff that I feel quite strongly about, like vaguely political and state of the world sort of things. So I guess yeah, if you know, if we stood for something, it would be along those sorts of lines, yeah.
The state of the world aspect is huge. It can be overwhelming. But obviously, as you said already, you pour a lot of personal thoughts and feelings into this. So first, is it becoming easier for you to open up in that regard? Because it's not the easiest thing for anyone to do, let alone actually put music out there and say, this is what I'm feeling.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, no, it's tricky. Like to say it's easy is yeah, not accurate, because it's not. It's I'm constantly like self-reflecting and thinking when I write stuff, or when I, especially when it gets released, I'm like, is that too much? You know, is should I reword this? Should I even do this? Should I rewrite this song? You know, it's a constant, as a, you know, creative type, I suppose. It's kind of, I'm very self-critical as well. So I'm sort
Hmm.
of always thinking like, oh, is this shit? Is this cringe? You know, and people gonna like it or whatever? And usually just getting the sort of feedback from the other guys in the band, like, yeah, you know, or my mates or partner or whatever, is just, and they'll kind of be like, don't worry about it. It's good. You're making art. I have to remind myself constantly. It's like, I'm making art, and whether or not people like it is like irrelevant, because it's my personal sort of expression. And you know, if it's something that people can listen to and like nod their heads to and be like, yeah, this is a sick song or whatever, without listening to the getting all the deep meanings or whatever, then that's fine with me, you know.
Yeah, as long as a person's enjoying it, whatever they're taking from it, that is ultimately the most important thing.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
Do you find that opening up is getting easier the more you create, the older you get?
What am I getting? I'm not sure really. It's because it's still challenging. I mean,
Mm.
yeah, because I mean, I do it in a bunch in a couple of other projects as well, where I'm writing similar sort of things. But is it getting? It's always difficult. It's always difficult to write something
Well,
personal.
maybe the word easier is the wrong one to use there. Comfortable. Are you getting more comfortable?
Yeah, maybe actually. Yeah, now I think about it, possibly. Yeah, because I've sort of, especially with this first release, these 5 tracks, when we were recording it, and we were at the studio, you know, I had the lyrics on a screen, and it was like the other 4 guys in the band could read what I'd written. That was the first time that they
Oh.
could actually see the words that I'd written, and I was like, oh man, this is like going to be really embarrassing. I had to be like, you know, this is just what I wrote, like whatever. It was quite embarrassing, but in terms of that, they kind of, it's now that it's like they know what to expect. So I guess in future, yeah, it hopefully will be easier to write that sort, to express myself.
Today, what's your proudest achievement within the Dead Flesh camp? Do you have one?
Uh, proudest shit. I mean, I would, yeah. Obviously, we haven't released the EP yet, so I'm sure that'll probably be my proudest achievement. But we played some great shows. Like the last show we played at the 6 Bar in Cambridge was really an amazing time. Everyone looked like they're having just the best time. There were mosh pits going, and we did a wall of death. Actually, I tell you what, the first wall of death we did during Medal to the Masses at Club 85 in Hitchin, um, it was one of our early gigs. I think we got to the final for Medal to the Masses, but it was the first time that we created the part midway through the song where we like pause it, and then I do the thing where I'm like, right, I want everybody to split down the middle, and it's proper like, you know, I've seen other bands do it, like Corey Taylor from Slipknot do it,
Mm.
and it was so cool being like, I was doing it, and everyone in the crowd was like, yeah, this is sick, let's have a fucking blast, let's do it, and it was like, yeah, that was so good.
It's amazing, yeah, because obviously the last thing you want to do is, hey, split, and then like two people move and nobody
Yeah,
else really wants to
yeah.
do it.
Yeah, I have to judge it like for different shows. I'll be like, I've got to read the room. I'll be like, is everyone gonna be jumping about and moshing, or is everyone gonna be standing still and headbanging? So yeah, I'll either do the wall of death, or I'll be like, right, bang your heads, and yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. So one or the
do
other.
something.
But yeah, it's fucking awesome when it happens, man. It's so good. Yeah.
All right, turning to Dehumanise now. Talk to me about your vision for this EP. Now, obviously, you've been sitting it a while, so I'm gonna have to take you back to the earliest point. Did you have a clear idea of what you wanted to do from the start?
Not not necessarily. No, it was really because so we haven't been going for too long. It's quite a young project, and this is our first release. And initially, it was really kind of a just sort of mess around and see what happens. See if we like playing together. Um, the way we kind of started, it was sort of an amalgamation of previous groups and projects like that had come back together. And so initially it was like, oh, we'll just write some songs and have a laugh and see what happens really. And then we like put the first song out, single Dead Flesh, and people were like, oh, this is really good. And we did a few shows and people seemed to really enjoy it. And like we got some really good feedback from it. We did the music video as well. And from then it was like, oh, okay, this is like actually better than we thought it was going to be. So maybe we should take it a little bit more seriously. So we didn't really have a vision from the get-go, but in terms of yeah, what we have now, it's sort of evolved more into like uh, yeah, more of a project with goals and ambition. Yeah.
Yeah, I get that. You start by having fun, seeing if you gel together, see if it works, and then it does. So hey, now it becomes an actual thing. At what point though did it become clear that you had the workings of a record here? And was it always a clear-cut EP, or was there an idea that maybe it could have been an album to begin with?
No, I think it was going to be an EP initially, yeah, because we wanted to we weren't sure about sort of doing an album straight off the bat. We didn't have that. We probably didn't have enough material for an album anyway. So it was kind of coming to be like we really wanted to get something out. And we did the single, and initially we were gonna just sort of we weren't really even gonna kind of do an EP. We were just gonna drop singles
Mm.
and then sort of smash it together into an EP or whatever. But I think we eventually decided on yeah doing like a 5 track. Yeah, but it if yeah we had enough songs. We sort of picked the ones that we thought were strongest and decided that would be good to smash into a an EP package 5 track thing. And yeah, that's
Almost there.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. It makes sense. At least you've got that body of work, of course, alongside, a previously released single. Talk about challenges then, specifically focused around the EP and Dehumanise. What were some of the more challenging aspects of creating this record for you?
For me, man, yeah, I mean, definitely coming up with lyrics that I felt that specifically lyrics that so I didn't do too much on the kind of musically creative side with the guitars and all of that. But yeah, getting the lyrics right is always like always a challenge,
Hmm.
because a couple of songs are really personal to me and deeply introspective, and some of them are not. But it's just I wanted them to be something that I'm proud of. And like we've got other songs where I've written lyrics and I'm like, look, I don't like this song because what I've written is crap. And it's like
Right.
if that were a song that we were gonna put on the EP, I'd be like, I've got to rewrite it or something. So like challenging for me is just getting it right, and even if it's not something super deep and introspective, like the song Dead Flesh doesn't really have much for meaning or anything. But I still wanted the lyrics to be like something that okay with like putting out, and the song wise to be like myself thinking like, yeah, this is a good song. I can listen to this and be like, yeah, I like it, you know. Because if I don't like it, then you know, is anyone else gonna like it, you know? But that's definitely a challenge, and recording's a fucking struggle as well because it's like,
Mm.
you know, we did it over a couple of days, and we're doing like multiple tracks, and it was like a full day of like doing vocals, and it was I remember it being really intense, and I don't think I'd really done anything like that before. I recorded vocals with some other bands, but not in a studio like a proper professional studio, I think. And so that was quite a challenge actually. Yeah.
But exciting, right?
Oh, definitely. Yeah, yeah. It was amazing. Yeah, yeah. I had a blast. Really enjoyed it. It was really exciting. Yeah.
Well, on that front, then, flip it around, still focusing on the overall creation process of the EP, positive points, things that you enjoyed immensely, or you even found kind of pushed you as a creative.
Uh, I mean, definitely getting to record and hang out with the guys, and Justin, who was the guy recording our EP, was absolutely fantastic, and pushed us all to be working with him was just fantastic. It was like pushed us all to be more creative. You know, he came up with
Mm.
ideas that we didn't initially think of. So we would be like, we'd be like, here's our tracks, and then he'd be like, oh, what if you did this, and what if you added this, and there's all these like extra creative bits that came out of the recording sessions that went into the songs. So that was really really cool, and yeah, just being able to, you know, do my vocals in a super like professional setting, and it being on the record and hearing it back, and it was like, it's fucking awesome. Yeah, it's so good hearing the final mixes, and you're just like, yeah, at the time you're like, oh, this sounds terrible or whatever, but then you hear it back and you're like, oh, this is sick. Like, it sounds really good.
Do you still find yourself quite excited by that? Because obviously, when you've had these tracks for such a long period of time, you've been sitting them for a while, there
Yeah.
is a chance that apathy and tiredness sinks in and so on, particularly when we're over just well, what, yeah, slightly over a month away from the release. Do you still have the excitement for the songs?
Oh, definitely. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's every time I hear them, they come on shuffle on my phone or whatever. I'm just like, oh yeah, this is sick because the mix is so good, man. It's like I hear it on, you know, mixed in with other bands that I like, and I'm like, yeah, this is fucking awesome. Like, I'm really excited for the tracks. They sound great, and yeah, I think we all do a really good job if I say so myself. Yeah.
Yeah, about half an hour ago. I think, yeah, about half an hour ago, it just dropped in my inbox. So, well, I haven't had the chance to listen to it yet outside of a certain song, which we'll get to in a moment. I'm looking forward to hearing the whole thing. In particular, so you kind of talked about what it dives into the EP as a whole. But one of the things that I always find quite interesting is when a band or an artist sort of talks about the world in its current form, because to me that is so goddamn wide and big that I almost wonder how you break it down into actual lyrics and songs that don't feel so overwhelming.
God, yeah.
In that regard, is it too easy for you to find inspiration when you're just effectively looking out your window?
Um, no, I mean, I wish it were easy. It's easier to be honest, because um, it's there's a lot, but yeah, finding the right thing to kind of write about, and or it usually sort of depends how I'm feeling at that specific time, because like you say, you're right. There's so much like, you know, breadth of things in the world like to write about that are, you know, annoying or that fuck me off or that I'm angry about or whatever, and figuring out what the right thing to would work in a song as well is it's difficult. Yeah. um
Well, on that front, then I have talk me through, say, sort of what your creative process is like. So, say you're sitting at home, the TV's on, the news comes on, and a political party or a political figure has done something shitty as per usual, or another war is kicked off somewhere else, and so on. And your immediate reaction is a wealth of feelings. Do you then take those feelings and work from there?
um yeah, I mean, it tends to sort of be I know, so particularly with the track that we put out recently, Bodies Upon Bodies. was a just kind of a direct reaction of that sort of feeling where it was like I'm fucking angry and I'm pissed off, and yeah, I like need to get that in, and it just works really well with the music because the song is so in your face, it's so intense, and I was like, that would work really well together with that sort of thing. But yeah, that feeling of just like anger and like apathy and just sort of feeling sick of everything is kind of
Mm.
something that I can, seem to be able to tap into when I'm when I'm writing. Yeah. So I guess there isn't a whole lot shortage of that sort of feeling to dig into when I need to write something, because it's not all the time. It's just sometime when I'm feeling like I want to write something, or if I'm having a particular feeling at a particular time, then it'll be like uh I'll sort of just write lines down or write bits and pieces, and then see if it kind of matches into something that I can work with, I suppose. Yeah.
Are you a notepad everywhere, all the time kind of guy?
Kind of. I write stuff on my phone. I actually bought I bought I got my dad bought me a dictaphone because
Oh,
I was
cool.
for Christmas, because I was like I really could do with a dictaphone, because half the time when I come up with lyrics, I'm like driving my car and I'm listening to other bands, and I'm like, I've got other bands playing on stereo, and I'm like, oh, that's a sick line, I should write something like that, and then I can't
Yeah.
write it because I'm driving. So now I've got a dictaphone that I keep in my pocket everywhere, and whenever something comes up, I'm just like, yes, write this down. Yeah. So yeah.
I get it completely. I have a dictaphone in my car for not for lyric writing, but for
Yeah.
review writing. As I'm listening to something, a thought will come ahead, and I think that's bloody great. I want to make sure I add that to review.
Yeah.
But obviously, I'm driving, so the
Yeah.
dictaphone's just
Exactly.
going all the time now.
Yeah. There you go. Very convenient.
Yeah, yeah, modern technology, yay.
Yeah.
Okay, you mentioned bodies upon bodies, so I want to ask about that. Are you happy with the response to it so far? And do you think that it's gone some ways to giving you an idea of how the full EP might be received?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, yeah. From some, comments from friends and other people, that people said, it's heavy as fuck. We love the way it sounds. Like, generally, people seem to really enjoy it, and take that as a really good sign, because the rest of the EP is, along the same lines, and people seem to like it, and if they like that, then hopefully they'll like the rest of the EP. So yeah, it's definitely been very encouraging. It's nice to, I'm glad we released it, and no, everybody didn't go, oh well, that's a shit song, because that that wouldn't be great, but it doesn't seem to have gone that way, thankfully. So yeah,
No,
no,
yeah, it has been a nice positive response in that regard, and it will hopefully continue as it builds towards the EP. What else? Right, let's start with this part first. What do you have planned between, say, now, literally today as we're talking, and the EP release that you can talk about? Obviously, if it's stuff you don't want to mention, I completely understand. But if there's anything you can kind of tell me.
yeah, definitely. I think I can tell you, actually, because I actually just saw on our Facebook group this morning that we've had a little teaser for the next single. So I think it's safe enough to announce that we've got another single coming up before the EP launch. So another track
Mhm.
and a music video will be with everyone shortly, which it's very exciting. I believe on the 28th of this
Oh,
month.
oh, perfect. Exactly 1 month before.
Yeah.
Perfect. No, that's good to hear. Okay. After. So the EP is out. What else is going on in Dead Flesh Camp? Shows that you've got coming up, plans later into the year, and so on.
Yeah, so we're playing at the 66 Bar again in Cambridge, which we're very looking forward to, because it's a great venue. That I think they're struggling a bit at the moment. They've done a couple of fundraisers.
Oh,
Um,
really?
yeah, which is it's another sort of music venue having difficulty financially and stuff. But they did a couple of fundraisers, and went to one of them the other day, and it was good. But there was a great venue. We're playing there again, and that's gonna be awesome, I'm sure. Um, and then we've got Metal to the Masses in Hitchin at Club 85, which we're really excited about. We've done it. We did it 2 years ago, I think it was, and got to the final. And again, Club 85 is closing down. The venue is closing, which is really sad because I live right next door to it, and it's like it's a favorite venue of mine. It's one of the first I ever played at.
I didn't
Um,
know it was closing. Oh
yeah,
wow.
yeah, it's really sad. Yeah.
Hmm.
So that's yeah, they're closing. They're hopefully they're moving location technically. But the Club 85 venue as it is now will be no more, unfortunately.
Fair
But
enough.
on the plus side, we've got a show there before it closes, and we're doing Metal to the Masses, and it's always a good time. It's always a good turnout. So I'm really excited for that. I think it's gonna be awesome.
Yeah, the Bloodstock Melted the Masters continues to get bigger and bigger each year, and venues fill up very, very quickly, and so on. And of course, as you say, you've already had a go at this. You already made it through to the final. Um, and the fact that you're doing it again this year, I have to ask them for you. What's the appeal of Bloodstock Melted the Masters for you specifically?
Oh man, that's a great question because um, Medal to the man, yeah. It's the path to playing at Bloodstock. So I love Bloods. I love the festival. The festival's
Hmm.
amazing. I used to go when I was a teenager and really getting into metal and alternative music. I went to download one year or whatever, but I was like, oh, I heard about this metal festival that was like the bands were way heavier and it was way cooler. That was Bloodstock, and I was like, that's fucking awesome. And of course, like the dreams when I was younger was sort of like, oh, I want to be a front man and I want to be one of those guys like screaming on stage in front of all these people and on this like massive stage and whatever. It's like that was like the dream. And yeah, going to Bloodstock and seeing all my favorite bands and like the community there as well is awesome. And just being like, wow, I really want to be on one of those stages, like doing the front man thing. And Metal to Masses is like one of the routes to get onto one of those stages. And yeah, it'd be fucking awesome if I could do that. If I could yeah, be the front man on a stage at Bloodstock. That's like teenage dream come true.
Are you a regular attendee?
Yeah, yeah, you should go every year, yeah.
All right, been to when was what have you been the last couple of years and so on?
Yeah, yeah. I think it went the last 3 years or so, yeah.
Okay, we
Um,
would have we probably passed each other and didn't even know.
Possibly, yeah.
Yeah, it's not big. It's not that big of a festival, so there's very
No,
very
yeah,
likely.
yeah.
Are you planning, regardless of Metal to the Masses, whatever happens there? Because of course, if you make it, you'll be going regardless. But are you planning to go anyway?
Yes, I've got my ticket, so I
Okay,
will
then
I will be there
then
regardless, yeah.
okay, cool. So will I. Three bands that you're really excited to see.
Bloodstock.
Hmm.
Oh, Opeth, number one.
Oh,
Opeth. Absolutely.
okay.
I'm very excited to see Opeth. And it's a fan picked set. So I'm
Hmm.
sure I'll be digging through the discography to find some lesser known songs that I really wanted to hear or something. um Opeth, God, my memory is absolutely terrible and I cannot remember who else is playing. On the same day that Opeth are playing, I know Clutch. I'm really excited to see Clutch. Big Clutch fan, and it's one of the bands that I've never seen live before. So I'm super excited to see Clutch. Um, and I know there were some others on the Friday as well, but I can't remember off the top of my head. But it was a really solid day for bands that day, and I'm really excited for the Friday. Yeah.
Well, fingers crossed that you're at least one of those days. Many hours are taken up by you having to prep and prepare to play the New Blood stage or the Jaeger stage, whichever it might be.
That would be amazing. Yeah.
But what else is amazing is, of course, April 28th, you will release the EP Dehumanise, which is, of course, the major focus and the most important thing right now. The last one question for you before I let you go. What would success look like in your head for Dehumanise?
For the EP, I mean, really, it's just having people hear it is really like that's success. Like having, I suppose, for me, having more than just my friends and people near me hear it. It's kind of
Mm,
like success would be like a wider range of people got to hear the music, and hearing feedback where people would sort of say, this is really cool, like I like this track, or like you guys sound really good. And to me, that's like successful, I think. If you know, if I get other people who I don't necessarily know hear it and like it, that's pretty successful for me, I think, personally.
Well, there you go. You know what, folks, to do to put a smile on Richard's face. If you don't know him personally and you like the EP, drop him a message, I guess, on social media and say that bloody thing, right?
Let me know. Be like, oh, I really like the EP, whatever, and I say, or if you didn't like it, you know, whatever, it's all good.
Don't encourage that kind of behavior. All right. Yep, again, just to repeat, Dehumanise out April 28th, 2024. And of course, you got the shows, including your run in the Hitchin, Metal to the Masses as well. So if you can get down there and support those as well and give your support to Dead Flesh and help them get through to Bloodstock, that would be gratefully appreciated. Rich, thank you so much for taking the time to do this. I really appreciate it.
No worries. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you very much for watching. If you'd like to see more content like this, please consider hitting the subscribe button. It is gratefully appreciated. You can find us over at gbhbl.com, our full website where reviews, news and so much more goes up daily. We're also on all social media platforms: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Threads, at gbhbl. Just search for gbhbl and you will find us out there. We also have merchandise on sale. You can access the shop via the website.